Okay. Jen, I'm going to stay with you. As a marketing representative, how do you acquire proper funding to support all these awesome projects that you want to go forward with?
Right, so, you laughed, Jeff. So everybody's familiar with MDF and BDF funds, I'm assuming? Is anybody so new to the industry that they're not familiar? Anybody?
Raise your hand if you know what those terms mean.
Well, I would say raise your hand if you don't. Like if you're in distribution, you don't.
Let's explain it.
Okay, so one of those funds is discretionary funds that the manufacturer has, and they can decide along the way how they want to distribute that to their partners. There's co-op funds, which is something that you earn along the way, and then usually that is really a plan that's made up along with rebates. It is for our company anyway. So you'll get a certain percentage of your sales back in rebates, some to marketing. I know there's companies that put everything into rebates and maybe nothing into marketing. So, but I know I have a very sizable marketing budget, and I do work within my budget. And I know that there's ways that the manufacturer will deal with us if they want to do something over and above. We'll take anything for payment. We'll take material, a credit, a check, whatever, freebies. So you have to be able to be flexible in order to get your end goal when it comes to the money. But I would say to that tune, you have to be able to show proof of performance. And you're not going to have that relationship unless you're ready to show, not just with the invoice and your backup documentation. Again, it's about the relationship. They know when they're giving you what they give you, and then in excess that you're spending it properly. And it shows in the sales.
And then on the manufacturer side for that, again, we only have so many dollars to spend. And we have programs like you were explaining where end of year rebate incentives are hitting various growth goals. There's dollars earmarked for marketing, but also we have discretionary dollars. So we partner with someone like a Billows, and we make a plan in, let's say, January that says, here are the 5 things that we need to do in order to drive business for these various either solutions or with these customers, and then we earmark those dollars in order to go forward and do that. So the planning process is key. If and I'm not saying it, but if a distributor would come to me and say, hey Dave, I need $1,500 for a golf outing, I'd say, okay, let me think about it. Who's going to be there? What's the potential ROI? There's a myriad of questions. I mean, I'd rather spend dollars doing something that is going to drive top line and brand awareness than a steak and potato dinner.
And I've also heard from a manufacturer that the last thing they want to see is their whole year billed fourth quarter.
That's right.
Because what have you been doing? Now all of a sudden you realize you're going to lose this money, and you start working up fake things, just to get your money back. So for Billows, to David's point, I work up a marketing plan. I have a sit-down meeting with the manufacturer or the rep, and we go through how we're going to spend it to the penny. Things that might be adjusted along the way might be the month that something's going to occur, or if new product comes out, things like that. You have to be a little flexible, but they're very comfortable with that. And then sometimes they'll say, send me an invoice for the entire year. I'll pay it up front so that later on down the line, I don't have a problem, with my organization getting the money, or we bill it as we go along. So, and that takes time, and it takes follow-up to be able to make your manufacturer comfortable that you're spending their funds the proper way.
And then you get to the point where there's trust. Where I know if Janet calls me and says, I need X amount to, I don't even ask what it is, right? I know that she's going to be a steward for those dollars and do what's right for both she and I. So if you can get to that point with your distributor, or on the flip side with your manufacturer, then you guys are just laying golden eggs at that point, laying golden eggs. So, Mike, I want to just swim back to you, and then I want to open it up to the floor for the last.
Wait, can I just say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I also don't think it's a good idea to take money from every manufacturer. So if you have your ABC item, LED lights, they're ever changing, and EFG guy comes in and says, here's $1,000. I want you to market mine. Well, that's not a smart strategic decision. You have partners, people that you've decided to, hop in bed with, and it's just not wise money to take. So you're not really there as the marketer to grab every penny that you can grab, because that doesn't forge good relationships. So.
That's true. All right. Well, so, Mike, I just want to go back to a question we had asked the other folks here. Being in the unique position, being an IDEA, VP of Sales and Marketing, how do your marketing teams and sales teams interact with the manufacturers that you're speaking to get your business done and delivered?
Sure. Well, we in many ways represent the distributors to the manufacturer, and so oftentimes the way we interact with the manufacturers is to make sure they're aware how much the distributors value the content that's being provided, how it's being used. That seems to be one of the things that manufacturers want to know, because just like justifying a promotional program, people that are on the product management side or the data side of the manufacturers, they have to go out and negotiate for dollars in order to continue to improve the quality of their product content. And one of the things we try to encourage is discipline, which ties back to what John was talking about. Is manufacturers and distributors, I think, being sometimes a little bit critical, sometimes are so fast to get products to market that they don't have a standardized process that they step through. And I've had some conversations with manufacturers and said, if it's a product where you're going to put it out and somebody could die, there's no way you're going to skip the testing portion of that preparation to launch that product. Mm-hmm. So if you send it off to UL or whoever is doing some of that testing to make sure, you ought to make sure that the product information is prepared to go with the product when it's ready to launch. Because today, there are people in the industry that say that the information about the product is the product today. So what we try to do is encourage manufacturers to say, slow down, do it right, make sure you have a repeatable process, and everybody will be better off for it down the way. So, we try to represent the distributors and try to communicate to the manufacturers what's important.
Great. All right, so I think we go till about 4 o'clock. So that leaves about, 20 minutes for, open-ended discussion or organic conversation. What types of questions are out there? There's about 20 of you in the room here. Yes?
I'm wondering if you have a repeatable approach or process from a distribution standpoint to new product launches and driving that from the manufacturer and your internal business unit managers, business segment, and out to the field.
Yeah, so typically for us, a new product launch starts with the manufacturer. We make sure that our key salespeople, because we're never going to be able to get all the branch managers and everybody into one spot. So we have a new product committee in our company, and we get those people together. The product manager or the manufacturer comes in, and they usually have a PowerPoint. They have all the samples, and they show them their why and why this one's better than the next one. Especially with LED and everything is just changing so quickly and so fast, and it really starts there. And then the next step, like I said, is if it's an over-the-counter product, is trying to get it into our branches. And then it's more legwork on the manufacturer or the rep at that point. Once it's embedded into the company, that's when I will go in with an e-blast. I'll look for a video to put up on our monitor. We put it on our direct mail campaign. And then internally, we just speak about it a lot. And then I think one of the biggest things that we can put out, which I had suggested to a manufacturer today at lunchtime, is a comparator. If you're bringing out something that's the same as somebody else's, same as somebody else's, same, that's what it looks like. It's nice to have a little quick comparator to show why yours is different and why somebody might think that one's better. So we really push for that a lot.
And we have a similar process. There is a committee. You have manufacturers that are constantly pitching new products, and and it's true. As a salesman, I want to have everything, right? I want to be everything to everybody, and I know that's not. I know, but it would just be great, because, right, exactly. But I'll tell you that, there's so many things being brought in and people are pitching, and as a salesman, it's sometimes challenging because, 3 months ago, I'm told that this is the product, and now you're telling me this is the product. Which is, now if I go to this person, they're going to say, yeah, this is the greatest. And I go to, which is the greatest? I have to make some decision by my own experience and seeing it. I'm not an electrician, but I got to, my customers have to trust that what I'm telling them is accurate. Now, they may have already right up front what it is that they particularly like, a particular, if they're in a gear line that they like and they like Siemens, that's just the way it is. And if I can't provide that, then I have to make a strong case of a different product because I can't offer them Siemens. So that's my current situation, no offense, Dave. But I do know that there is that process, we go through that, and then we have a monthly sales meeting where products that are new are presented, and we have gotten better where the lead time is there so that it can be supported properly. Purchasing brings stuff in properly, and then we are able to then launch it out. I know as a salesman, I've got, and everybody's different, but in my case, I probably have 60 accounts. I don't see all these 60 accounts. I don't even talk to most of them. But of the top 20, 25, I touch them in some manner, certainly every other week, and then there's probably 7 to 10 that I'm touching every single week. Now, every week I'm going to see these guys, and sometimes I'm seeing them twice a week. I don't want to be the donut guy. I don't want to be the guy. So what is it? Give me a reason to go in there. And I appeal to manufacturers and my marketing department all the time to say, I need something to feel like I'm providing something to my customer every week that I'm going, because I got to stay topical. I want to be able to bring some value to them other than, hey, can I have a PO? You know, that's always a challenge. And it gets hard. It gets,
Yeah. And I can also say from a counter perspective, we've made sure that at each counter, we highlight whether it's an end cap or it depends on the space that the location has, what the newest product is. And people start to look for that, It could be across any of the lines, but if it pertains to across the counter, we make sure that each branch has, like, this is the newest, so they know to go there.
And I'll joint call all day long.
Yeah.
I love it. It takes a lot of it out of me. I bring the expert with me. Got a new product, I'll go find the guys in there and I'll take that rep. Again, you got to have that relationship and comfort of me taking that rep to my customer. But we go in there and we say, hey, this is the new thing, or do you have any projects coming up? How can we implement it? Have you tried it? How about we sample out these, different products and test them? So, that's always a big thing too. And the customers feel like, wow, he's taking his time to bring, you're coming out here, you're bringing key people from a manufacturer, and it develops that relationship and a trust. So it's good.
Plus
too.
you get a free lunch out of it.
And a free lunch. Perfect.
Bonus.
Free
Jeff,
lunch on the golf course.
On the golf course.
Right.
Yeah, to kind of tie that in, how do you, because I've heard the same thing from the counter and the sales reps, like we get it through these incentive bonus things and we don't even know we're in it sometimes, and like, how do you stay out of the cycle of chasing the next best thing? Like you said, you plan your budget a year ahead. Are those built in? Do you see that? When do you know to pivot to like put this new widget that's awesome?
So I have a direct relationship with our inventory control team and our new product committee. So as a marketing person, I'm kind of pulled into a lot of meetings.
Got it.
So recently David had visited for something, and it just spun off into something completely
Unrelated.
something unrelated, and my management team happens to be in the corporate office where I am, and next thing we're like in the conference room and we're all discussing
5 hours we were
the
just.
next greatest thing that's coming out of there. So I'm really kind of in at ground level on a lot of things. And just to throw another manufacturer out there, Klein Tools, they bring new things out all the time. So we have a monthly call, first Monday of every month. We get on with the manufacturer. They've sent us something through the computer, and we literally go tool by tool. What are we bringing in? Yes, no, because we want to be first to market with that. So it depends on the manufacturer, it depends on the product, obviously. But we have a game plan for each thing that comes out. And we don't take everything that comes out.
So trust and communication.
Communications, relationships are big. Yeah.
Plus is important, if the manufacturer's bringing something of value, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we posed an opportunity to these guys, and I was there wasn't there to call on Billows. I was in Philly doing something else. But as I'm going through this something else, I'm like, this makes a lot of sense for Janet and her team to be part of. So I got in the car, drove an hour, knew that she was going to be there. We had lunch. 5 hours later, we're hammering out a bunch of great opportunities to move forward in for that next year. So you got to look for that partner that you trust, but always, to your point, you got to bring something to the table, right? Because if you become the donut guy, or the weather, or the milkman, or you just talk about weather and sports, you're gone. You're out.
Right.
You're out.
Training, I mean, the guys love training, especially the field guys. So, there's so many opportunities, again, where I will try to bring that service, that training to the end user, and especially because I call on a lot of just straight end users, municipalities, those sorts of things, that they're not, electrician field guy. They are, but it's a little different situation. So, to be able to invite them somewhere or to do it in their own building if they have enough employees, and you do, I hate the lunch and learn word, but something to that effect that's a little bit more in the field, they love it. And it brings that value, and then next thing you know, you become the expert, and that's where the trust starts developing.